Welcome back to another episode of Sport Exposure Podcast. As you know, Sport Exposure is here to expose sport stories, sport experiences, the things that we go through. And today we have special guest Michael Wyche here with us, former Miami University football, as well as the Green Bay Packers, and also book author. So tell me about yourself.
Piggyback off of what you just said, I'm an entrepreneur, investor, former University of Miami football player, former Green Bay Packer football player, and an overcomer.
That's what we're here to talk about.
That's right.
So here at Sport Exposure, our motto is celebrating triumphs and learning from our defeats. When you hear that, what comes to mind in pertaining to your story, your sports story?
None but God.
That's simple.
None but God.
He'll bring you through it, won't he?
I ain't got nothing else to say. None but God.
I feel it. I feel it. So when you talk about your story and think about your story, where was your introduction to football? How did you get started?
Well, my introduction to football came out, the apartment complex I was living out. It's called Woman Place Apartments. It's located in Chesapeake, Virginia. We had a lot of athletes out there.
7'5", you know how we do.
Yeah, we got a lot of athletes, but, unfortunately, those athletes don't get some of the chances that certain athletes get due to circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to really be out there to understand that. Like, you just be like, oh, he was a knucklehead, he didn't make it, but did you know this man mama was a crackhead half of the time? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So his circumstances was different.
Exactly.
So throwback and run became really, really the thing for us out there as children. And we had certain athletes out there, like a guy by the name of Greg Boone. He ended up going to Virginia Tech. So he was kind of like the sports eye, like that court attention, like, man, we trying to get out like Greg. He ended up getting a full scholarship to Virginia Tech. And but like I said, throwback and run was always our thing. So we not in the 757, we just natural like athletes. Like,
can't help it.
We can't help it. Like,
I'm in the water.
Right. So it's like it was natural to us, but he was ultimately the guy that was like, I want to try that, because the first thing we really was involved in was drug dealing and gun violence. So when we seen him, we was like,
there's another
that's
route.
the way out. And then that's when you started to learn about Vic, Iverson, and all those guys. So I really didn't start playing until the 8th grade. That was my first year ever playing football. And the rest of the time before then, I was in the streets doing a lot of things I ain't had no business doing. Just going through life, trying to figure this life thing out.
Right. So when did you know you wanted to take football serious? Was it 8th grade? Or did you, in high school, you figured out you were good? I know I didn't figure out I was good till like 10th grade. I'm like, oh shoot, I can do something with this.
The 8th grade, we won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time that I ever accomplished something great in my life, I felt like, because everything else was just so hard for me. I was in and out of the juvenile detention. I was, trying to, like, make sure my mother was okay, because my mother was addicted to drugs really bad. Growing up in the crack house, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even worried about sports for real. So
exactly.
I didn't start taking it serious until I got to Oscar Smith High School. That's when my coach got a hold of me. Matter of fact, before I got to Oscar Smith High School, that man out there, I was in alternative school at the time. And that's when I met him, Alexander. And he told me that, man, you got a gift, because we was always in the gym for recess and all that. And said, you got a gift, man, you need to use it and don't let it go to waste. And, that's when he said, man, you need to go, this your home school right here. We saw Oscar Smith in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he said, this your home school right here. You need to go back and really do something. I think you could really make some noise in football. And I went back and met Coach Richard Morgan, and
did your thing.
Yeah, it just happened. Like, cause like I said, I was in the streets. Like, I was knee deep in the streets. So
So when did you make the transformation from, or when did you leave the streets completely alone? Because I know, being from where we're from, it's a lot of athletes that are 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And as you know, it's pretty impossible. It's impossible to do both. Some of us do it, but it's going to catch up to you eventually.
I officially got out when I was in college, to be real. To be
transparency,
yeah. I officially got out when I was in college, when I caught a gun charge. And this guy named Bruce, he was a mentor of mine, made me go to this Bible study thing that was online every Wednesday. And the guy that was leading it was Tony Dungy, NFL coach. And he said some words that just made sense. And it was just like...
It was God speaking to you?
Yeah. So it was just like, I need to leave this alone. Because all my friends, all my partners that I was in the streets with, getting locked up, everybody snitching on everybody.
Same story?
Yeah, so it was only a matter of time, you know.
Right.
So, but it was an addiction that I had to overcome because I saw everybody doing it. Like I said, my house was the crack house. So I grew up seeing everybody just getting high in the house, and I'm like, mentally that really messed with you. Like, why these people reacting like that? Then the dope man just setting up shop in your house.
It becomes your norm.
Yeah, and I'm asking them like, you know, man, can you stop selling drugs to my mama? No, man, your mama my biggest customer. But at the end of the day, I hated him. But at the same time, I looked up to him too. He had all the money. Right. He had all the cars. He had everything. So we had a love-hate relationship.
So you mentioned it being an addiction. So going into college, you said you had just left the streets alone completely.
No, I left the streets alone right before I got my NFL shot.
Oh, okay.
I got saved and everything.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
So talk about that transition, because a lot of people, leaving the streets is one thing, but as you said, it is an addiction. And with just like any other addiction, you want to go back.
Right.
How did you get through that? Knowing what your future was about to look like. That's not the easiest thing to do.
It's not. How did I get through that? Seeing everybody else go to jail.
Simple.
See, I feel you. It's the simplest things, but people
overcomplicate it.
We don't, as people, most of us, we don't pay attention to red flags and the signs. And not only that, like, everybody else's mistakes is our biggest teacher.
It takes a strong mind, though.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't necessarily have that mental strength to realize that.
And I didn't want my children to see me behind a glass door. My father's doing 40 years in prison. He's been locked up since I was 3 years old. I didn't want to, you know, Tony Dungy spoke all of that into me. He encouraged me, and I had to make a decision.
So fast forward to Miami.
Yeah.
As a student athlete, there's a lot of things that we go through. Playing on that level, Power 5 level, I'm pretty sure you went through a lot. Behind closed doors, on the field, off the field. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Where you want to begin?
Wherever you want to start. Let's talk about the transition from high school to college. That is a huge transition. From playing high school ball to P5 level football.
First of all, when I was in high school, you know, the times have changed around here now, and I'm trying to get used to it. But Oscar Smith was once the one powerhouse here in the 757.
I'm hip.
So, and I was grateful to be a part of that. We were the first team to win in school history, win the state championship. So, we ran the town, and our coach made a comment one day and was like, y'all need to enjoy this because this the most y'all gonna ever win. And he did not lie.
I was just about to say,
He said, this the most fun you gonna ever have. He said, because after this is gonna become a business.
He didn't lie.
He did not lie. So when I got to Miami, he already prepared me for that.
Yeah.
So transitioning to college, first of all, I had to go to junior college. So I had to go over to California because my grades wasn't all of that because alternative school.
Yeah.
And the streets.
For sure. But there's a lot of athletes, they have to go that route because for themselves, the same reasons, though.
Yeah. So alternative school plus being in the streets. I ain't like to go to school like that. So my teachers
ain't no money in there.
Man, it was tough. Man.
Ain't no money in them classrooms.
Man, you feel me? And they ain't talking about how to get it either.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to use none of this.
Right.
I ain't used calculus yet.
We ain't going to get into that. I ain't took a lot of classes.
So it was different. So I really didn't have no interest in school. I had interest in business and investing.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the wrong role model. I knew what I wanted to do in life, but I had the wrong role models. I had very intelligent individuals, but they were entrepreneurs instead of entrepreneurs.
As I said, they were intelligent in different areas.
Right. So, but going to junior college, it was tough because I had to go over to California. And I ain't never left South Norfolk before, and I went over there, and then, I got my business going over here, my street business going. I got my partners working for me. This in high school. I'm booming in high school. Like, I'm booming. Like, I got, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Making it shake.
I can't say too much, but yeah. So I'm leaving all that behind, and I didn't want to do that. But Coach was so eager to save my life and get me out of South Norfolk. So he said, man, just promise me you will go. Just go to this junior college. I was like, all right. So I went to junior college. I went over there. Didn't know nobody.
Yes, but junior college is a beast in itself.
Yeah. 12 people in a 2-bedroom. Beast.
You
got to pay to eat. You got to pay to do everything.
Hold up. 12 people in 2 bedrooms?
12 people in a 2-bedroom.
How? What y'all sleeping on?
2 to a room. Then we all bought twin mattresses, and everybody made pallets on it.
So y'all lined up.
Man, it looked like a boot camp in there.
How long were you there?
2 years.
Like that? 12 people?
Eating rice and beans. Because we had to save money. We all had to pay rent. But
was rent split between 12?
Yeah. It was nice.
I was going to say, it had to be low.
It was nice. It was very nice. And but then again, the street mentality come back.
Gotta get it.
So I flew my guy. So what I did was I flew my partners out there. All my partners that was with me in high school.
Oh, you was gonna find a way.
Yeah. The mentality.
Yeah, right.
I flew my partners out there, and we ended up getting our own apartment because I was not about to stay in there with all them folks.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up getting our own place, and we got back to work. So I met some more people out there because California, I'm just keeping it transparent. California, they like to smoke out there.
Yes, they do.
So once I learned that how much money I would...
Probably more over there than over here.
Yes. So we ended up getting busy over there while I was playing football, my guys doing that. And I ended up becoming something different on the field. I ended up becoming an All-American, junior college All-American, while still doing that.
While hustling. So you got to junior, you did 2 years at JUCO.
Yeah.
And then when you got to Miami is when you put it down.
Nah, I'm still going.
I was about to say, yeah, you're a whole different beast too now.
That's a whole different beast. I tapped into a whole different product too.
So how was that transition from JUCO to Miami, from California to Miami? Because JUCO and Miami is night and day when we talking about sports.
So when I was in JUCO, my mama, I got a phone call. My mama had abandoned me when I was younger. And this NFL player ended up taking me in, by the name of Keith Burnell. He was with the Green Bay Packers at the time. And basically, I went and lived with him, and he trained me. He got the fastest 40 time at Virginia Tech.
Wow.
And he ended up training me. So I was a big guy that had a little speed on him. So I'm
sure you picked that up too.
Yeah. So at the same time, it was he molded me into this monster on the field. And because of him, he's the only thing that was but he didn't know what was going on while I was over there on the
he just saw the field side.
Yeah, so he didn't know what was going on. So while I was in junior college, my mama came back in the picture. And after she had left me and her started getting a good relationship, stuff like that, and she ended up passing away after we got back really close.
Sorry to hear that.
And then on top of that, my teacher, who was like a mother figure to me, she ended up committing suicide. So now I got a lot of mental health things going on. So the college coaches came out there to see me, USC, University of Southern California, and Lane Kiffin and T. Martin. T. Martin is now Lamar Jackson head coach. Well, no, he's his quarterback coach in Baltimore right now. He the one who discovered me out there.
Wow.
And T went back and told him, man, you got to come see this guy out here. You got to come see this guy out here. And they came out there, saw me practice one time, told me to come take a visit to USC, offered me a scholarship on the spot. And everybody started hearing about me.
That's all it taking one.
Paparazzi out there, you know. Don't nobody want you until somebody wants you.
I know all about it.
You know, so after that, I was going to stay in California. I was going to stay in California, but they ended up firing Lane Kiffin right before it was time for me to go on campus. And
so you had committed to USC?
Yeah, I had committed to USC. Okay. I was solid with USC.
Right.
And they ended up firing my head coach. And Ed Orgeron, if you remember who Ed Orgeron was, I don't know if you remember, but Ed Orgeron was the head coach in the movie Blindside that he ended up going to play for.
Wow, yeah.
So Ed Orgeron was like, man, you remind me of somebody that I remember, like, because he knew my story. Because when I committed to him, big thing came out about my story. He was like, man, he remind me of so much of somebody that I remember. I was like, who? His name was Big Mike too. And he showed me, I ain't know nothing about the dude. He showed me the Michael Orr guy with the movie Blindside and all of that. And he was like, oh man, we got to do this. So they didn't keep him either. They wouldn't make him the head coach after he took them to a better record.
And politics, boy.
Politics. So I decommitted from him. And I was trying to figure out where he was going to go because I wanted to be trained
wherever
under him because he not a trained that position for his defensive tackle. And I usually don't go nowhere because of a coach. Because Coach Morgan was good at giving us the game, like as far as what to look for, because our families didn't know nothing about the business of sports. So Coach Morgan gave us a game. So I didn't want to go there because of him, but I knew I needed his training. And so I was waiting to see where he was going to go. And he was taking too long. So I opened up my recruiting. After I opened up my recruiting, I committed to Miami because Miami was the best fit. But before I went to Miami, I had to bury my mama. And after that, went to Miami, and that was a whole nother beast.
Let's get into it. That's why we're here.
Yeah. So I went to Miami, and when you get down there, everybody a 5-star. Everybody good. And I was good too. First of all, the Florida boys, they thought I was from Florida because of how fast I was, how strong I was, and everything like that.
Sports down there is different.
It is, but they soft though. Some on soft, yeah.
I'm hip.
Yeah. So I came down there and I wreaked havoc, but at the same time, I was still in the street. I just couldn't let it go. Like for some reason, I just could not let
it's an addiction.
Go. So when I got down there, it was lit though, the best time of my life.
I'm hip.
So how uncut is this podcast?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
We telling stories. We being transparent.
So when I got to Miami, it was, people knew who you was before you even stepped on the field. And at that time, they was looking for like the next big D tackle to come there. So I got a whole bunch of pressure built up on me already.
Right.
Like, he the savior. I'm like, damn, like not knowing I'm going through mental health issues right now. I'm crashing out. Like I'm just like,
that's not what they worry about, right?
So then on top of that, I become a father. So
life be life, don't it?
Yeah. So get down to Miami. I'm from the 7-5. You got all these, first of all these pretty girls, you know, from a small city. So
they ready.
You got yes, Lord. You got Cubans, Colombians. You got so much distractions down there in Miami. So it's like, so all of that. Now to the football thing, you got to focus on football too. You get there, all that the coaches told you is not true. They told you what defense you gonna run. They said we're gonna run a 4-3. Okay, cool. When you get there, the first team meeting, they like, well, we told you what you wanted to hear
to get you here.
He telling everybody this. Now this is how we're gonna do it. And it's like, I'm the type of guy, I don't take lying very well from other individuals. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize, coach told me it was a business, but I'm just so real that I'm okay with if I get punished for being real, I'm good. So I walked out the meeting.
This is the first meeting?
It's the first meeting. Me and him, like team meeting. I walked out the meeting. Coach followed behind me like, what's going on? I was like, well, he lied to us. He told us we were running a 4-3. You know, we were going to be creating a new line of scrimmage. And come to find out, we're going to run a 3-4. I said, I've never played a 3-4 in the staggered stance that he want me to do a mirror technique. I've never did that before. I'm a father I did 2 years of junior college. I got 2 years left to prove myself to go to the league.
All right. You ain't got time to be playing.
You can't waste my time. So we already started off on the wrong foot. It was already personal between my head coach and I. But he respected my talent though. So I did play. Mm-hmm. I did play, and did I have the career there that I wanted to? No, I did not. And I'm cool with saying that. I did not have the career that I wanted to have there. But what I did have on the business side was I met tons of rich people down there that was teaching me what
business we talking about now?
Oh, this is me transitioning.
Okay, what business are we on?
So this is me transitioning to corporate.
Okay.
Trying to learn about the corporate world now, how business actually works.
Utilizing your resources.
Right. So now I'm no longer getting mentored by Mr. Dope Dealer anymore. Now I'm getting mentored by Mr. Entrepreneur.
Millionaires, money.
Right.
It's different.
So that's the part I did enjoy about being down there. And I made some amazing plays down there too on the football field. But like football was a vehicle to get me where I truly wanted to be. And that's what I want people to know. Like I could live without football or not. At
that time, did you know you were using it as a vehicle? Or just, okay.
Because I always wanted to be a businessman. Football
means to an end.
Football made the most sense to me as far as creating capital so I can gain the money to be able to invest.
I got you.
I just happen to have a gift in football. But if I didn't have a gift in football, I'd be doing something else. But football was the greatest thing to do at the time. And then you get to hit people and not get blamed for it too. And I was already a violent individual. I was from the 7-5. That's the first thing you taught is a fight. So you grew up in a violent environment. That was a great sport for me to get into because I was an angry kid growing up. So I met this entrepreneur. He showed me about certain rules, how to save my money. And he also was teaching me about like what I need to do to build a business. And like he taught me the 80-20 rule. Basically, 80% checkings, 20% savings. You repeat that and pull 10% out to invest. That's how you. And I always
valuable.
Yes. So the NLI thing, I'm happy about the NLI thing now because these kids the coaches are mad because the Rabbit got the gun now. The transfer portal and all that. The Rabbit got the gun now.
Yeah.
So now you can't sit there and hold a kid no more. And
it's a whole different game out there now.
It's a whole different game. So you can't sit there and do that. You can't lie to these kids no more.
They gone.
Back then,
they gone.
Right. So back then you could lie to them and tell them all these lies.
And they gotta sit there.
Yeah, so Miami was fun. I learned a lot of learning lessons there, and I also caught a gun charge there when I was there. You know, that really changed me because I was facing a lot of time because I had multiple weapons there.
Was this as a football player?
Yeah. My cousins was supposed to come get the guns, but he missed his flight. So
you was stuck with him?
Yeah, and me and my girlfriend got in an argument, and things went left, and we separated. And she broke into my house.
They crazy.
She broke into my house. You know, we were young, man.
Yeah,
we were young.
Yeah.
And the media try to twist it and turn it to be something that is not.
Change the narrative.
And next thing you know, you got to explain this and that. And I'm the type of guy, I feel like I ain't got to explain nothing to nobody. I don't care what you think about me. Because what you eat don't make me.
I'm the same way.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not about to explain myself to nobody. So the media sitting outside my house for 2 weeks. Just a bunch of crazy mess.
Right. What, was this your senior year, junior year?
This was my last year.
Wait, what time frame was this season start?
This was 2015. Yeah, so.
It was preseason, postseason, during the season?
This was during the season. On my birthday. Yeah.
So how did you get through that?
Just took the punches and kept rolling.
Did you stay on the team?
Yeah, they kept me on the team because they knew it was BS. Mm-hmm. They were just trying to massage the media.
Right.
Because the truth came out that when they saw the cameras. So the cameras told everything in my house. So when they saw the camera footage, that shut everything down. And I still didn't explain what happened.
Lucky you.
I didn't care. I didn't care what nobody threatened. And after that, but I had gun charges because she told on me about the guns. Mm. Yeah. She was like, he's more than just a football player. So
she let it be known, huh?
Yeah, so she ratted on me, yeah.
Was that when you decided to lay it down or no?
After I went to court and my coaches talked to me and they put me in a life group with Tony Dungy, that's when my life changed because I just didn't want my kid to see. And then my partner just had got popped and they gave him 60 years. So it was like, you know,
it's only a matter of time. Different.
Yeah. So after that, after all of that commotion, I ended up getting an agent, which he went to Miami. He sent me to Atlanta to get back on track and get away from all this crazy mess, clear my head. And I got into church and Tony Dungy inspired me to put all that down, and door open from Green Bay called me. I went up there to Green Bay, and when I saw that G on the stadium, everybody would think that, oh man, you happy because you made it. No, that G meant I crushed the generational curse. I made it through. That's what the G meant to me.
I got chills.
Yeah.
For sure though.
I broke the generational curse.
Just by being there.
Just by being there. And I live my life now. I would never touch that again. You know, it was something that I really had to overcome. And no coach would never understand it because coaches are too busy trying to feed their family. Everything's a business.
Everything.
So they don't care about how you feel. They don't care about what you're going through mentally. They don't care about your addictions. They don't care about none of that. Can you rush the quarterback right now?
Right.
If not, get out. Bye.
Exactly. And you said a mouthful. So from grief to playing through grief to adjusting through grief. And I can relate because When I was in college, I lost both my grandmothers in 2 weeks on front as a sophomore going into preseason.
Yeah.
So naturally, I didn't handle it because I had preseason to get back to. So how did that affect you? Because that's something that from the outside looking in, we handle it. We still pooping, we still balling, and they think it's not there. But behind closed doors, me personally, I didn't take it well. But I didn't show anybody that because I feel like as an athlete, we're never given that light or space to be anything outside of an athlete. So how did you get through that?
I had a mental breakdown at first. I had to talk to somebody.
You went to a therapist?
Went to a therapist. I had to talk to him.
Was it easy for you to open up? Because there's a lot of athletes, men specifically, they struggle with being vulnerable, talking about their feelings, talking about their emotions.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that?
It was hard for me to talk to people because I ain't really trust nobody. It's like when your own mother disown you, it makes you think that, well, it puts you in this mode like, if my mama don't give a damn about me, like,
How would y'all?
Why would you? You know, and if my mama could leave me, you think I care if you leave? You know, I had a moment with him one time, Alexander, when he left me because he went on to better things. He got, other great opportunities.
Right.
And I remember this moment I had with Alexander. He informed me that he was leaving because he knew that we were close. And when he told me he was leaving, I kind of like...
You ain't take it well?
I ain't take it well because it was like, dang, why every time I get close to somebody leave me? Because it brought me back to that time when my mama told me when we was living at somebody else's house. Because my mother and I, we was sleeping on parks. We were in homeless shelters. We got kicked out the homeless shelter because of her drug addiction. Because in the homeless shelter, you got to come in there at a certain time. If my mother was...
she was on her own curfew.
My mama was tripping, man. So you got to come in there at a certain time and do things right. And she just won't follow the rules. So we find ourselves on the street a lot because she don't like to follow the rules. You got to follow people's rules if you living under somebody else's rules.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So everything was just, it was tough because, like I said, when he said he had to go, he was all I had at that time. Me and him was close, like, and when he told me when he had to go, I kind of like just lost. I shut down, like.
Cause you ain't know nobody.
I ain't think I was gonna see him again. And then he pops up everywhere. That's my man, so.
Mentors are so important for us. And looking back at my journey and just hearing yours, I told the line a little bit with some street stuff, never as real heavy, but it was always the mentors that said, nah, okay, like, come back over here.
Yeah.
Or like, if they saw me getting too carried away in a situation, like, nah, okay. If they saw me fighting too much or about to fight somebody, like, nah, come over here. Or if I'm about to make a move after practice, after school, like, they literally will put me in their car like, nah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So I can only speak from what a mentor did for me because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. It's my mentors that are still to this day.
Yeah.
They still feed into me, that pour into me. And I can't imagine my sport career without them. What did your mentor do for you?
Kept me, even though I was still up to, it was almost time for me to turn pro, still going through that transition of drug selling addiction. Because like I said, it's addiction.
Right.
Some people get high, some people like to get paid. Either way, it's an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it. So I had to overcome that, and I needed the mentor in my corner, like, because without him, I'd be probably dead or in jail. Without him, I'd be dead or in jail. Like, it's no other route for me.
Exactly. I hear that, kids. Make sure you find a mentor and take them serious.
Yeah, I'd be dead or in jail. And like I said, even though I was still trying to find my way, and I could have got popped.
But you did it.
But God had his hands on me. He had his hands on me. And everybody don't have the opportunity that I had, as far as second chances. Because if you keep playing with your life, something gonna happen. But I was fortunate enough, God gave me a chance to get it together.
What they say, God's favor ain't fair.
Yeah.
It ain't.
'Cause my daddy had to learn the hard way. First time he in jail for 40 years.
Lessons all over you.
40 years on his first offense.
So it sounds like you've learned a lot of lessons from the things and environments that you've been around.
Yeah.
As a collegiate student athlete, what lessons did you learn that carry with you today? And even as a hustler, it takes a strong mind to transform your mind from thinking about hustling to getting bread to transforming that mindset over to being an athlete.
Right.
It's all the same. The drive's the same.
Yeah.
The work ethic is the same. The time you put in is the same.
Yeah. Football, valuable lessons. Football taught me a lot of life valuable lessons. When you're on time, you're late. I still use that to this day. I'm sorry that I hold on. Let me.
I was about to get you.
Hold on. That's why I said hold on.
I was about to say, you open that door, I was coming in swinging.
On my thing, it said 12.
It's a little miscommunication.
You're right. So usually I'm on time. I try to get, first of all, I don't like rushing to anything. I don't like speeding to anything. I don't like living life on the edge. Some people just get up for work in the morning. They got to be there about 8:15. They getting up at 7:30. Like, come on, bro. You know you're not going to, and then you down the road.
It's the same
so
routine.
I like being on time for everything. So football has taught me when you're on time, you're late. So I make sure I'm on time for work all the time. And you got to learn how to work with people.
All types of people.
It teach you how to work with people. It teach you patience, you know. And so that's how I learned to like navigate, like just work with people in business, you know, because you got to deal with, as a business owner, you got to deal with like so many personalities. And the way you talk to this individual, you can't talk to that individual because you might not get that response.
And the list goes on.
So football taught me how to be a great leader, how to lead men, how to lead women, you know, and things like that. It also taught me a lot about investing as well, believe it or not. Asset, liability. You know, I hate liabilities. So teams hate liability.
Please express more on investing because that's an area that student athletes, it's a foreign language actually. So especially now that with these NIL deals,
right?
It's important that somebody is telling them to invest some of this money somewhere. So
when I was in Green Bay, and my time was very limited there because God had other plans for me to become a best-selling author. So, but the time that I was in Green Bay, I had the opportunity to see one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Aaron Rodgers, how he operates his everyday life, how he does things, what he does with his money and everything, how he just looked, what he dressed. I examined this man from head to toe. I examined everybody from head to toe who's a successful individual and things that I can get from that. And Aaron actually gave us rookies $5,000 a piece. But he said a very, very inspiring message with it. He said, I hope you bums hold on to it because some of y'all ain't gonna be here next week. So invest your money. And yes, it was cruel, but it was true. The truth. He said, a lot of y'all ain't gonna have 16 years careers, 20-year careers. So you gotta learn how to invest your money. Aaron owns he owns part of the Milwaukee Bucks. He owns a massive amount of real estate and everything. And even down to the cars I watched him, Ford F-150 with 5% tint. He don't have no Rolls Royce. You know who got the Rolls Royce?
Who? The rookies?
No, all the black people.
Oh, of course. You know we let it flash. Flaunt it. Of course.
We all have that. And
what to show for it.
The reason that I say black people because, like you said, we flashy because we never had nothing. So I asked him, I said, why don't you have like a Rolls Royce or anything? He says, what you mean? Something that depreciates soon as
I said, that's a depreciating asset.
A lot? Like, no. You know, he said, I invest my money first before I go buy anything. I said, what do you mean? Like, well, I take my money and I invest in a cash flowing asset. Now, I can go, if I go screw off some money, I know it's coming back next Tuesday. Because I invest in a cash flowing asset. And oftentimes we get money, we blow it. My thing is, if you come from a poverty environment, why are you gonna go out here and get these people the money right back?
And you know what it's like to not have it.
You going to buy a $450,000 chain, when you could have bought 5 rental properties?
But we also don't know what we don't see.
Exactly. So that's another reason why I decided to be an example in my neighborhood. I didn't want them to look up to Mr. Dope Dealer again, because I had to look up to Mr. Dope Dealer. I want them to look up to Mr. Entrepreneur. And I want to show them, hey, save your money this way. Invest this first. Investing is important. Cash flow is king.
So what advice would you give to current student athletes now about investing with all these deals? If you had a current student athlete, if you had Sanders in front of you right now.
Shedeur Sanders.
Making millions.
Making millions.
I mean, of course he got his daddy, but what would you tell them? Because he's one of many.
Yeah.
It's a few athletes that's making millions.
Shedeur Sanders in front of me right now, I would tell Shedeur, every time you get paid, put 70% in your checking, 10% up for investing, and 20% in your savings. And you repeat, and you repeat, and you repeat until you figure out what you want to invest in. And if you can't find anything to invest in, go to dividend stocks. Dividend stocks are different. Everybody, they get into stocks. Because I saw a bunch of people, I'm going to get into stocks at one point, like when it was during the pandemic or something.
COVID, yeah, it was getting that free money.
Everybody, I'm about to invest in the stocks. But you don't know anything about stocks. So now you lost money. So most people invest in capital gain stocks. Capital gain stocks are different from dividend stocks. Dividend stocks, it's the equivalent to this. It's equivalent to, let's say we're doing real estate right now, right?
Uh-huh.
You got a fix and flip. You fixing and flipping it to get bread. You flipping the money. But then you got rental property. Every month you got money coming in. A capital gain stock is like having a fix and flip. A dividend stock is like having a rental property. The dividend stocks, you're going to get money coming in every month. The capital gain stocks, you just buying and hoping that it goes up and your money flips. Who wants to live like that?
Right.
I'm going to play the long game. So
the
first book I ever picked up was The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. And I got that source from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was a Nebraska alumni, and I saw him on the sideline when Miami played Nebraska. And I was like, man, just give me something.
Hungry for that knowledge.
You know what he told me?
What did he tell you?
Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1.
That's simple.
That's simple.
That mindset.
That's all he gave me. And that's all I needed. And the rest of it, you just keep searching. This life thing is like a puzzle. You just got to keep searching for knowledge. You got to stay hungry for knowledge. You know, so if Shedeur Sanders was in front of me, hey, if you can't find something to invest in right now, invest in dividend stocks. Don't go for capital gain stocks because you're just buying and you're holding. You're buying and you're hoping. No, get your money.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. So I started doing that as like younger, like just playing with stocks and stuff.
So student athletes are allotted a lot of resources. As you said, you asked somebody on the sideline, give me something. Mm-hmm. And these resources vanish once you put that ball down.
Yes.
Very quickly.
We know that.
So what advice would you have to current student athletes just about utilizing their resources? Because a lot of student athletes, we don't know what we don't know. And we have these resources and our coaches don't even tell them we have these resources. Our advisors don't even tell us we have these resources until somebody else comes and tells us. So what advice would you give to a student athlete about navigating the system the same way they're using us to navigate the way they, to get their one out of it? But what would you tell a student athlete as far as getting the most out of their time with that ball and using that ball as a vehicle to get you to the next level?
If they came to me like as a mentor?
Mm-hmm. Or you're just talking to a student athlete, talking to a group of student athletes.
I would tell them.
Either or.
I would tell them about one of the rules that I've...
Investing.
70-30 rule. But I will also give them a slew of books to read. Because what do they have most information from an individual? We don't like to read.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to read. Everybody wants it now. They don't want to put in the work to get it. So I would give them a list of books to read. And I would tell if they didn't read it or not because I read all of them. So I know everything that I highlighted to make me a better entrepreneur and investor. So
top 3 books.
Top 3 books. I got to go Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Classic. I haven't read it yet.
You got to read it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Then I got to go Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. And Think and Grow Rich by, forgot that author name.
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Okay. We're talking about books now. Let's talk about your book.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So what inspired you to write it?
I've been writing since the 10th grade. My teacher, Miss Donna, used to always tell me, write your feelings down. Like, so that's where it became like really.
And that also helps with the mental too.
It's therapeutic.
I just got a grip on that maybe 2-3 years ago.
And I do something called reality writing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do no fiction or nothing. I really tell stories like somebody in a song would tell. Like in my book.
Real stories.
Yeah. Like I really tell real stories. And it makes people want to read. As an author, you have to keep the book interesting because we all got very short attention span.
Yes, we do.
So so you can really lose somebody really quick.
Yeah.
So you got to keep the book very, very interesting. And but yeah, I started writing when I was in the 10th grade, and it was just therapeutic to me. It was just something that I really wanted to. I found that as a passion, especially getting all my feelings out about my mama, about my father, about just everything that I've been through as a kid. Just all the trauma to get my house shot up as a kid, like, cause my mama owed a dope man money. Like,
but those are all relatable stories for our community.
Yeah, so it's like, so I just wanted to write it all down and just give it to certain people. Like, read this. It's gonna really help you mentally. But I wrote something because my grief recovery specialist, who is up here, she helped me, get through life and helped me, mentored me through when my mother passed away and other things. We partnered up and wrote this book together. And also military, you got some military veterans in there who co-wrote it as well. And it's basically teaching people how to turn their pain into purpose. And you got to get the mental right before you can get anything else right. Because once the mental is gone, I don't care how good you is in football.
It's going to catch up.
I don't care how good you is in basketball. Look at Antonio Brown. We can go down the list.
And his story specifically, it hurts my heart because we don't show these athletes love or attention until they're gone already.
Right.
Like AB, for instance.
Now y'all sad for him.
What happened before that?
Get him out of here.
What led to that? What help did you not give him?
Yeah.
And there's so many athletes, and we're talking about grief. Like I said, I've always experienced grief.
Yeah.
From undergrad, and most recently 2 years ago, I had 5 immediate deaths.
Gotcha.
Working in sport, in a position of power as a woman on a white campus. I'm the only Black person they see.
Yeah.
And I'm forced to still show up and be everything I'm supposed to be, everything that they think I'm not supposed to be, because they don't even want me in the room.
Right.
So I'm dealing with behind closed doors. I'm grieving. Like, it's been times where I had to walk into office at 10 a.m. I cried for 2.5 hours up until that, just enough to get a face on for an hour.
Right.
And athletes do the same thing.
Yeah, but they don't see it though. They think we just supposed to shut up and dribble a basketball.
That's exactly what they think. And it's sick.
It's sick.
And it's sick. And that's one of the reasons why I remove myself from those situations, because we're humans.
Right.
We're so much more than athletes. Right. And athletes, like I said, we're human. We go through real stuff. We go through life stuff, specifically coming from our community. Right. We're used to grief. We're used to losing people. We're losing our mom or dad leaving us. We're used to people getting popped. We're used to seeing that stuff. And navigating into the sports world is not the easiest thing.
It's not. And then you, especially if you under the leadership of a coach that don't understand your background, he don't understand, he can't relate to you or she can't relate to you. So they bring other people in to try to relate to you.
And
it's still, it don't do nothing but frustrate you more if you ask me.
It does, because you're playing for somebody and I'm putting my body on the line for you. You are building generational worth off of my talents.
Off of my talent.
I ain't got nothing. I don't come from nothing. Like, I ain't never seen it before.
And if I don't produce, you're going to ship me right back to where I came from. With no knowledge, no direction, no nothing.
And then
it's almost like throwing a military veteran back out on the street. We don't know nothing but hitting
And it's
people.
crazy that you said that, because I feel that our transition is just as equal to them. They get more assistance than we do.
Right.
And when we talk about sports, y'all just throw us out there.
Yeah.
You breed us for this ball, around this ball. Our entire life is around this ball. For 20-some years.
Right.
You cut me because I do this, or you cut me because I do that, or it just don't work out.
Yeah.
And now I'm just out here like,
But once I learned my purpose outside of playing ball, which, like I said, I have accomplished great things in ball. I'm state champion, JUCO All-American. I'm the first one from here to actually play at Miami.
It's dope.
I made it to, even though I accomplished all those things, and all those things were great. All of those things were fantastic. But when I learned how to invest, sports became kind of like,
this was going to take me where I need to be.
Right? It became like, that's when I knew it was like, okay, this is a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Once I found out my passion, look at Magic Johnson. They wanted him to like with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Magic was like, man, look, I own Magic Johnson Enterprises.
I don't got time for this.
Yeah, I ain't got time for this. So now, you like Le'Veon Bell, I don't know if you remember him.
Mm-mm.
He used to play with the Steelers.
Okay.
He set out like a whole year, 1 year. People didn't understand why. I knew why, because I know Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell set out. He like, man, he missing so much money. He missing $14 million. But do you know he owned 20 Wingstops?
He ain't missing nothing, right?
He don't care.
And that's why it's important to have plan Bs, plan Cs, plan whatever, have alternative routes.
With these kids got to understand that, because you a knee injury away.
I was just about to say,
you a bad coach away
from being right back where you started.
Being right back where you started, and you don't have a plan. And I try to get kids to think like this. Right now, the NFL or the NCAA now is your earned income. You have to have an earned income to survive in this world, a business income, investment income, and a dividend income.
All of that.
These. You don't take your earned income and go party, go to the strip club.
And ball out.
And go ball out, go buy you a chain.
But that's what we taught.
No. Yeah. You take your earned income and you invest in a business that's going to produce cash flow, that's going to produce more investment. How you think Jeff Bezos and all them getting rich? But we just sitting back, balling off our earned income because we can't stay till. I got to go take this trip. I got to go to Egypt. You gonna book, but then come back home mad
and
then complaining to the owner, talking about you need a raise.
How?
After you just bought out on a $9,000 trip.
Don't
and you
make
could have
sense.
invested that money.
It don't make no sense.
It's not adding up.
So
we got to get kids, especially in our community, because our community is lost. And I can't stress that enough. Our community is
it's bad.
Lost. Right.
It's getting worse.
Right.
It's getting worse.
And if we don't stress that to our kids, it's going to be bad. It's going to be...
Are you in the community? You giving back to the community?
Yes, ma'am.
So what exactly do you now? I know you train, right?
I train guys on my off time. I mostly focus on my business.
Right.
But when certain kids reach out to me, I go to certain games, see guys, and I'm like, I love to mentor him. I give him my card. Hey man, come train with me.
And that representation
Don't worry about that. Come on.
That representation is huge. Just to see, one, where you came from.
Right.
Two, where you are now.
Right.
And just your journey. Kids need to see more of that, because it's okay to have what you're going through right now is temporary.
Right.
A lot of kids don't understand that.
Right.
Like you could be in the streets right now, heavy.
Right.
For 5, 10 years. It all it takes for you to wake up one day and I don't want my life to look like this anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy. But back to that representation, it's very important for our kids to see us that look like them, that come from their same situations.
Right.
To know that it don't have to always be like this.
Right.
It don't have to always be like this.
I'm really getting inspired right now. My next venture, I'm trying to build an athlete hope house. If a kid, athlete, ain't got nowhere to stay, just went through what I went through, and go to the hope house, get yourself together, man. You got free food.
That's gonna be dope.
You got everything you need. Just go get yourself together and focus on what you got to focus on, whether it's your athletic ability, whether it's your business ventures. Because I wish I had a hope house. I want an athlete hope house.
That, and you will. I'm speaking into existence for you. You will.
I will have one.
You will.
You know, so.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah.
So to wrap us up, sport exposure is all about exposing stories, exposing our experiences, exposing things that athletes may or may not know. So what would you want to expose? Exposure can be good. Exposure can be bad. Just expose something that you wish somebody would have told you. You said a lot about investing. You said a lot about investing. So outside of investing, what guidance do you wish that somebody would have exposed to you prior to?
I wish that we had more positive role models in the hood, because we don't. That's why it's like a vicious cycle. Like it's a curse. Like, and most people from the hood are the most intelligent individuals you will ever meet.
They are.
Due to the generational curse, they're gonna teach you the wrong way to get money. Even though if some of these dope dealers knew how to run, like they know how to run a business already, but if they knew how to do it the right way, it would be a scary sight.
We'd be building little millionaires.
Oh my God. But I wish we had more guys to tell kids, look, go do this. And I will support you on that. Go call your mama. I tell her I'll pay for it. You want to go to the studio and record music? I'll pay for your studio time. I did that for one of my kids now. He want to be a rapper. Okay, you want to be a rapper?
Let me put you in position to be one.
Let me hear your music to see if you trash first.
I was just about to say, start with that. Like, they be gassing up anything. It's hard, bro. It's hard.
So once I see that he hard, I'm like, man, I'm going to go drop some money on some of your studio sessions. I want to see you do it. Go ahead and tack that thing, because you never know what he going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But even if they ain't, I'm just joking. Even if he ain't, even if he is trash, I still, if that's what you want to do, because I done seen some athletes start off as trash and the coach, he ain't gonna never be nothing. Next thing you know, he All-American.
And all we really need is somebody to believe in us.
That's it. So I wish we had more people just giving these kids opportunities that they never had. Have a heart. Invest in these kids. And you're not gonna get, sometimes you investing in a kid, you're not gonna get dividends back. You're not gonna get profit back from that. Do it out of your heart to save our community. So I wish I had somebody back then, but
now you're in a position to be where we need it.
Yeah, and I'm trying my best too.
For sure.
So even like with the jobs, like with my trucking thing, because we move household goods. So I take the football players and I pay them about $200 a day, like $4,000 a month. All of them.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Right.
Yeah, so I pay them about $4,000 a month, and it also keeps them in shape. Because that was one of my first jobs growing up with the OG in the hood. He was trying to stir us that way, like, hey man, y'all come work with me, I'll pay you that. But with our mindset, we used it and go
to do other things.
You know what I'm saying? You just can't get right. Just can't get right. So
we tried.
You know, so we just need to show our kids how to do it the right way. And that's that's my mission right now. Just showing the kids to do it the right way. But you can show them all you want to do it the right way. Okay. How you gonna support them though? You could tell a kid all day long, yeah, you need to do this and you need to do that.
You need more than that.
Okay, but he need this and he need that.
Find a way to get it to him.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's the only thing.
So where can we find you now? Where can we find your book?
You can text area code 920-930-1247. The word Wyche, which is my last name, Wyche, to that number. And basically tell us who you are, and we'll get you a book.
Absolutely.
We'll get you a book, because we believe in self-made around here. Jeff Bezos can't get
it's our
my
turn.
profit.
It's our turn.
It's my turn, man.
For sure. For sure. Keeping it in-house.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. You had an amazing story.
Thank you.
And I pray that a student athlete, anybody that's out there, you hear us, you see us, and you know that it's always hope. It's always hope. Catch y'all next time.